Man, you got my motherfucking money, man. Man, hell no. Fuck you, nigga. I kill you right here on this corner, man. Man, get my motherfucking money, man. Sure, that nigga, man. You will pump 2 holes in you, man. Pump them then, nigga. Me and my crew. Fuck your crew up, nigga. You ain't ready for that bullshit, man. Well, let's handle it then. But we can handle it then. I ain't fucked up. What you got? This gas,
where it all goes down. Hellbound, man, zombies like to walk around the block. Now the corner stay blinged out with gold chains and pinky rings. Every dope boy trying to get it, man. Chasing that money, man. Gang banging in the hood, good luck, man. I better stack a kush, you can get cut, shot. Nigga, what you want to do is all hood, man. Women on the corner selling their body for cocaine. Daughters and sons selling all your marijuana. Ain't no.
What's up, what's up? It is the Project Podcast, and I'm your host, Queen Supreme. Where your environment and your circumstances does not make you or break you, you can always overcome it on the Project Podcast. And today we're going to be talking about peer pressure. If you have any ideas on topics regarding the Project Podcast, please hit me up at 904-469-7516, or you can hit me up at Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, The Real Super Savage. And also, Queen Supreme Podcasts and Music to join my mailing list to keep up with the most updated podcasts and music that I make myself. Thank you. And we'll be right back after this.
You better beware, try to maintain. If you're not from there, don't go there. I advise you to stay far away. I said in the projects, niggas is cutthroat. Niggas sell your soul for a dime a dope. In the projects, 4 brothers grew up. Different mothers, different brothers, different fathers. Not even the father at all. I mean the projects, nigga, where the hoes get barred. I said the police scared to go there too. That's why the crime rate up. I thought y'all knew. Bodies getting found every day. So much crack cocaine.
And welcome back. That was my jingle and also my intro. How y'all doing out there? Y'all always laughing at me. Y'all can laugh how you want to. It's all good. Every now and then, everybody messes up a little bit. But anyway, this is the Project Podcast where we're talking about peer pressure. And in this episode, Jermaine and Lamar get approached by local Vice Lord gangs to join the Vice Lords. So let's see how it plays out. Peer pressure is something that plays a big influence in today's society. Peer pressure at school, peer pressure in your daily activities as far as your environment, peer pressure to do things that are outside of your comfort zone that you don't necessarily want to do or have to do. But in life, peer pressure will come and attack you. So this is what Lamar and Jermaine are going through. They're getting ready to go on a senior trip, but they got a couple of weeks before the senior trip. So they're doing their regular routine, going to school, doing their activities. They're in a couple of clubs as far as sports. So they get off the bus to go to their home. And as they're getting off the bus, they see local gangs. Now, this is not their first time having run-ins with these gang members, but as they get older, the peer pressure gets more intense. Of course, the Vice Lords and other people of the community see these guys moving in a positive direction, and they're trying to defer them and what they have going on. And in everyday life, this does happen. Now, Lamar and Jermaine start walking down the block. They can hear and see that the local vice lords are behind them. Now, at this point in time, one of the vice lords, he is, you could say, the leader. He is chanting and taunting them, trying to make them slow down and stop so they can catch up. Of course, Jermaine and Lamar, they keep on moving. They keep on moving. So this kind of peer pressure is called spoken peer pressure. And this is when a teenager acts, suggests, or persuades, or otherwise direct another to engage in specific behavior. This is also done one-on-one environment, and the recipient of the influence has a stronger chance of adhering to his or her core values and beliefs. So this is a spoken influence that takes place within a group. Now, this is a negative peer pressure, and it goes along with group enticement. So Lamar and Jermaine finally stop because they see that they're not going to, the gang is not going to stop following them. So once they stop and they turn around, Lamar said, what's up? And, the gang member's like, what's up? You need to be down in order to, get protection from any other gangs. And so Jamar, he says, well, me and Lamar, we cool. Ain't nobody bothering us. We don't need no protection. So that makes the gang members kind of upset because that's kind of like a sign of disrespect in the streets when you are be approached by a gang or someone as far as like a drug dealer or a pimp or something, and they offer you a position in their company within their organization. You don't really supposed to turn it down because it's disrespect. So once they turn it down, the vice lords, they get upset. And so they start saying things like, oh, you're better than me. You think you're better than me. You think that you're going to make it out. You think that, you're going to go to school. Just start bringing up their achievements, saying things that are very, negative. At this point in time, Lamar and Jermaine just want to, go about their day. So they let them know, we don't want any trouble. We appreciate you trying to, help us out on that end, but we're okay. We don't need that. So instantly, one of the vice lords takes out a gun and starts shooting. Well, since you're at close point range, the guys don't really have much time to run. So what they end up doing is just bagging up, trying to put their hands in front of them to prevent from being killed, but they know they're finna be shot. 3 shots were fired. 2 missed them and 1 hit Lamar. Lamar goes down, and the one that shot him says, next time we see you, we're going to kill you if you don't have your mind made up. Now, as all this is unfolding, Jamar kneels down to hold Lamar's shoulder, which has been shot. And the vice lords, they walk away like nothing ever happened. And in this society today, this is what goes on in the high crime rate areas. You have a lot of different circumstances that surround you that will try to force you into doing something, and if you don't, death or things like this would be the result that they know how to resort to. So Jermaine pulls out his phone, called 911, and they rush Lamar to the hospital. As they go to the hospital, Jermaine calls his mother, and they get in contact with Lamar's grandmother. With this being said, everybody meets up at the hospital, and they're in the waiting area, and they're waiting. And as they're waiting, everything is going through everyone's mind. And you can't help but to just be, fearful. He's in surgery, and they're just waiting. And that brings me to my next focus: unspoken peer pressure. A lot of times, unspoken peer pressure is when one's action or more peers are left to choose whether they want to follow along. This type of form is called fashion choices, personal interaction, or joining types of behavior like clubs, cliques, terms. Many teens, they lack the maturity level to control the impulse to make the wise decisions. If you want to know more about peer pressure and the effects, you can always go to talkitout.org, which is where I am receiving the best knowledgeable messages regarding peer pressure. Now, he was in surgery about an hour, and his friends and family are in the waiting area, and the doctor comes out, says he's going to be fine. He's going to need a couple of weeks to recover. So the grandmother is very thankful of that, and so are the friends and family. At that point in time, everybody still wishes to be there, and the doctor says let him rest. So let's fast forward to the next day. They bring Lamar home, and they put him, in the bed, and they just tell him just to rest, and don't retaliate, and this and that and the third. And so, things are playing in Lamar's head, like, why does this continue happening? He's very frustrated. Yes, he's a good kid, but everybody goes through the challenges of wanting to get revenge or wanting to get something done in return of what's happening to them. That's just a nature feeling. And so that's what's going through Lamar's head. He doesn't really want to lay down and rest. He wants to find them, and he wants to get revenge. But he knows that it would never be over if he continues to ignore them. And this is how he feels. And then sometimes when you're being peer pressured into something, if you don't give in, you think it would never stop. But it can, and it will stop. It's just the point of not giving up and not going into that peer pressure. Many times in my life, I have been peer pressured, not just in school, but at a job, to eat at a certain restaurant, or to go to a certain, go on break with certain people. So peer pressure is going to be not just as a teenager, but all through your life. It's how you handle the situation and what do you believe in, and to make the right choices. And so when Lamar wakes up from a nap, he wants to take a walk. And no one knows that he's wanting to take a walk, but he goes ahead and he takes a walk. When we can return from this little short break, he meets the Vice Lords again. And what will happen? All this and more on the project, so you don't want to miss it. We'll be right back.
I said come to the project so you can find out what it's all about. I ain't lying, I'm from the South. Cabrini Green, show the garden, keep it real trio. The project is where it goes down, and that's for real. The projects, cut throat to the business, man. The projects, you better beware and maintain. I advise you not to go there if you're not from there, man. Your heart beating, because you're the projects.
Hey man, come on with the rest of that motherfucking money, man. In that dope, bro.
Survival mode, man, I'm in this beast mode. I'm in this bitch and I'm looking crazy in heat mode. After the money, the niggas never fuck with it. I'm trying to get it.
We are back on the Project Podcast. I'm your host, Queen Supreme. And when we left off, Lamar was going to go against his family and friends' wishes and take a walk. Now, he takes a walk outside of Cabrini Green, high towers, and he wants to revisit where he got shot. Of course, there's been flowers and balloons and cards and stuff of get wells right there on the spot where he got shot. And as he revisits the scene, the same vice lords that shot him pull up. And Lamar turns around and says, y'all should have killed me. And the vice lords are taken back by this because they expected him to be weak, expected him to be scared. But Lamar wasn't scared, and Lamar was fed up. So the vice lord said, we might just kill you this time. And he said, that's the only way y'all are going to stop me. And they're like, stop you from what? And he's like, that's the only way y'all gonna stop me from becoming what I want to do in my life. Basically, the only way you're going to stop me from achieving what I want to achieve is if y'all kill me. There's no way I'm going to ever join you guys. That's just not the way I do my thing. I'm going to college. I'm going to do this, do that. So he started telling them, what he got going on. And he was like, if y'all was smart, you know what I'm saying? Y'all would try to do the same thing with y'all life before it's too late. So the vice lords get in his face, push him down and say, ain't no such thing as that kind of life. You're making it up. Somebody didn't lie to you. And he said, no, man, this is what I'm doing. Starting next year, I won't even be here no more. I'll be gone, so it don't make no sense for me to even join y'all. I got plans, things to do with my life. And, the head vice lord told him that he respected that and that he didn't know that all that was going on. And he said that his mom used to run with their mom. And, as they got to talking, their backgrounds were similar. The vice lord, the leader, just chose to go a different way at a young age. He did not know he had those kind of resources. That's the same as Lamar did. With that being said, many times when you're being peer pressured at a young age, you don't know the whole full story of the exact things that are taking place. You just want to either feel loved or protected or some kind of security because that has been robbed from you at a young age. So with that being said, the leader of the vice lord says he didn't even know that kind of opportunity was available for him at that age, and that he actually now admires Lamar for doing what he's doing. And, he apologized for shooting him and told him that he ain't got to worry about messing with him no more. So Lamar made it clear that it was not just him, that it was him and his 3 brothers. And he made it to where when the vice lords left there, that they would never mess with him or his friends again. He stood up to the pressures of the game. And sometimes that is necessary to do. Sometimes you got to say, hey, back off. This is what I'm choosing to do with my life. Now, I wouldn't recommend it in every case, but in Lamar's case, he's been going through this for so long. And indirect peer pressure is similar to unspoken peer pressure. And it can still be a strong influence or impressionable to a younger person. If you overhear people gossiping or another person reacts to the gossip, then it plays out to be trying to do an experiment to gain acceptance. And direct peer pressure is basically the type of peer pressure that is spoken or unspoken. So it could be either like alcohol influences or sexual influences, advances, or even cheating during a test. So with that being said, teens, young adults, when anything positive is going to go on in your life, you have to know that there is an outer resource, and that is the stronger person that is deep down inside of you that has the courage to say no and stand forth on that. Even with adults going to the wrong parts of the neighborhood, or going somewhere that you know is a bad place to go just to have a good time is not always the right choice. So peer pressure can be done in many instances and not even be known by your loved ones as well. You just, cigarette smokes. I have a habit of not locking my screen door. And I told my husband, why we gotta lock the screen door? I don't think we should have to lock the screen door. I don't think that. And he's like, that's just the way to be safe. So he's trying to get me to do positive peer pressure, which we'll talk about in the next episode. But I'm trying to do negative peer pressure. I want to not lock the screen door, but he wants the screen door locked. And that's a perfect example of negative peer pressure. No, I'm not trying to get him to do anything that'll harm us, but potentially one day, if that screen door isn't locked, an intruder can come in, or, anything could happen. A fire may break. I mean, anything, it's best to be the safest as you can be. Like I said, next episode, we will be talking about positive peer pressure and the examples and expires around that. But Lamar, when the vice lords left him standing there, where his blood, standing on his own blood, where he was the day before, Lamar had some hard choices to make. And one of them was recovery. So next week we will be talking about recovery and how to recover from physical abuse, physical wounds, and how your mind frame plays out in that. All that and more on the projects. I want to thank you guys for listening and continue to always overcome peer pressure. Like I said, you can hit me up on www.queenssupremepodcastandmusic, where you can join my mailing list and keep up with the most up-to-date music and podcasts that I create. Or you can hit me up on The Real Super Savage on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Thank you so much, and stay safe and positive. Peace.
You don't really know what the business is. Try to come down here and live a normal life. I doubt it. I doubt it, man, cause it's off the chain. Niggas on the block, they getting it in for real. Niggas know how it is. For real. Projects, nigga. Get it how you live, man. Any way you can get it.